8.6 Singular value decomposition and pseudo inverse. In this section, we will extend the concept of diagonalization to n by n matrices. Not necessarily square or symmetric. It's a general rectangular matrix, resulting in a matrix decomposition, and which is called a singular value decomposition. And we study pseudo inverse and least square solution by using the singular value decomposition. This is the theorem, the first theorem. Let A be a n by n real matrix. Then there exists orthogonal matrices U of order m and V of order n, and n by n matrix sigma such that U transpose AV is sigma, where sigma looks like this with zero block matrix is here, and sigma 1 looks like this. Okay, so this can be written in this way. The A can be written as U sigma V transpose by multiply U on the left and V transpose on the right, like this. And this is U and this is V transpose. Okay, and the sigma can be written in this way, where the sigma i's are all non-negative and all others are zero. Okay. This is the definition of singular value decomposition, which can be easily proved. Okay. Here, this equation is called the singular value decomposition of A, and the main diagonal entries of the matrix sigma are called the singular values of A. The little sigma i's are called the singular value. These are singular values of A. And U is the column of U are called the left singular vector of A. And the columns of V are called the right singular vector of A. I will let you know how to find those. Here, theorem 8.6.2. Let the decomposition, singular value decomposition, we have a singular value decomposition of the matrix A like this, where sigma i's are positive diagonal entries of sigma. Then V transpose times A transpose AV is this, and U transpose times A transpose times U is this. Let me show that. Since A is equal to U sigma V transpose, so V transpose times A transpose A times V can be written in this way, because A is this, so A transpose and A are here. Then V here, so V transpose, okay, here. V, 여기 약간 여기 바뀐 것 같다. V transpose times V times sigma times U transpose times U times sigma times V transpose times V. 요거 V하고 V transpose가 바뀌었어요. This was changed. But anyway, V transpose V is an identity matrix, and U transpose U is an identity matrix, because the column vectors are also normal vectors. And V transpose V is an identity matrix. So what's left? We only have sigma transpose times sigma, isn't it? Which is this, because sigma looks like this. If we multiply the transpose of this times this, then it will be exactly like a diagonal matrix, like this. And similarly, U transpose times A transpose U is this, which can be easily shown. This is also the product of sigma times sigma transpose, which looks like this, and the size of the matrix is n by n, like this. Okay. So yeah, you can easily find this. From here, what you see, this A transpose A is unitarily diagonalizable to this matrix. And then the column vectors of this matrix are eigenvectors of this A transpose A. And A transpose is unitarily diagonalizable to this matrix, which means the column vectors of this U are eigenvectors of A transpose. So if you find the eigenvalues and eigenvectors of A transpose or A transpose A, then you will find the matrix U and V and those sigma i's, the diagonal matrix sigma. Isn't it? It's very clear. So if you have a matrix, then make A transpose and A transpose A, then find the eigenvectors of it, then everything follows. Then you have U and V. And also, if you multiply U of V on left and right, then you will have a diagonal matrix like this. Okay, here. Then. So here's an example. 1. Suppose we have a matrix A. Then find the singular value decomposition of this matrix A. Then form A transpose A, which is this. This is a real symmetric matrix. So orthogonally diagonalizable. So find the eigenvalue of this matrix, which is 9 and 1. Okay? Then find the eigenvector of A transpose A. Also normal eigenvectors. Because it's unitarily diagonalizable. So you will find the also normal eigenvectors easily. So for this, you find the eigenvector of A transpose A corresponding to eigenvalue lambda 1, which is 9. Then you have V1 here. And find the eigenvector of A transpose A corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda 2, which is 1. Then you have this. Then just normalize. These are, you have distinct eigenvalues. So those eigenvalues are orthogonal. So it's a symmetric matrix, so it's orthogonal. So you can just normalize it. Then it will be a normalized vector, like this. Also normal vectors here. If you form a matrix U with this with this U, and then you will have what? The unitary matrix. You will have a real orthogonal matrix like this. And also find the eigenvector. Find the eigenvector of A transpose. Eigenvalues are same. A transpose and A transpose A has the same eigenvalues. 2 by 2 matrix. So you just find the corresponding eigenvectors and just normalize this. Then you will have U1 and U2. So you form a matrix U and matrix V with those UIs and VIs. That's it. Then what's the singular value of this? Singular value of A. That's the U times sigma times V transpose. U is here and V is here. And what's the sigma? That's the diagonal matrix whose diagonal entries are eigenvalues. Square root of eigenvalues. Square root of eigenvalues, which is 3 and 1. Like this. Okay? Square root of eigenvalues. Because here you have a square of sigma i's are there. This 9 and 1s are square of singular values. So a singular value is the square root of this eigenvalues of A transpose A or A transpose. So 3 and 1s are here. So you have U and V and sigma here. That's it. Okay? So let's do compute. If we have a matrix, then we can find the eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Then find the eigenvalues and then define a matrix B with A times A transpose. Then find the eigenvalue and eigenvectors here 9 and 1s and eigenvectors and normalize it with Gram-Schmidt-Jones normalization process. Then you have a matrix, orthogonal matrix, and do the same thing for the A transpose. Find the eigenvalues and eigenvectors and then normalize it to form a matrix U. Then you have U and V, and diagonal matrix is just form a diagonal matrix with singular values, which is 3 and 1. Then just try to multiply this. Multiply U sigma V transpose. Then what will be? That's the original matrix that you had, isn't it? That's the matrix that you had. Actually, all those could be done in a what? In here. Here, for the matrix, for this matrix, then what? We can find lengths and nullities and norms and eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and here, we can do the LU decomposition of this matrix, and we can do the QR factorization of this, and that also, I added the singular value decomposition of this matrix like this. U, sigma, V transpose. This is also orthogonal matrix, this is diagonal matrix, and these are the singular values, and this is V transpose. So if you change the matrix here, like what? Delete this. For example, if you make another matrix like this, then what it will be? Singular value, decomposition, what will be? Then you have singular value, U, sigma, V transpose here. So if you want to have larger matrix like this, for 3 by 2, then you will have a random matrix, and the 3 by 2 matrix like this, and you can do the same thing for singular value decomposition here. Isn't it? We have a sigma and U, V transpose. That work for the larger size as well. Anyway, so yeah, we coded those, so you can do it at once. Okay, I will explain more of the mathematics behind this singular value decomposition. Let A be an n by n matrix, square matrix. Then A is non-singular matrix if and only if every singular value of A is non-zero. Is that right? If it's an n by n matrix, then what's the sigma? Sigma. That's the diagonal matrix now. N by n diagonal matrix. And if this is non-singular, then here is a proof. Let's see. Determinant of A transpose is same as determinant of A square, isn't it? If A is non-singular, if and only if A transpose A is non-singular, because if this is not zero, then square is not zero. Okay? So A transpose is non-singular. If then what means is eigenvalues of A transpose are all non-zeros. So all sigma i's are non-zeros. From sigma 1 to sigma n, they are all non-zeros. Isn't it? So every singular value, all sigma i's of singular values are non-zeros. Vice versa. Okay. Here, in the theorem, 8.6.2, singular value of A are the square root of the positive eigenvalues of A plus A transpose, but A transpose has n positive eigenvalues. So all the square root of those are non-zeros as well. So singular value of A's are all non-zeros. So that's the special case. Next. The next theorem is called the rank 1 decomposition. Suppose sigma i's are the singular values in decreasing order for n by n matrix A. Then a matrix A can be expressed as follows. Matrix A can be written as a linear combination of this 1 by 1 matrix whose coefficients are singular values. Okay? This is a very powerful theorem. If you have a matrix, then you can write a matrix with a linear combination of 1 by 1 matrix. The rank 1 matrix. This is a uj times uj transpose is a matrix, n by n matrix of rank 1, and sigma i's are all the singular values of A, whose rank we have R non-zero singular values like this. So that's the rank of the matrix A. So A can be written as a linear combination of this rank 1 matrix whose coefficients are singular values. How many? The number of the rank of the matrix A. So now the study of a matrix can be considered as a study of rank 1 matrix. Okay. 자, note. The pseudo inverse of a matrix is also important because in the study of least square solution for optimization problems in industrial mathematics. In the study of industrial engineering, the least square solution and is one of the most important the concept that you should have. Okay, we can express an n by n non-singular matrix A using singular value decomposition like this. A is equal to U sigma V transpose. Here, since A is an n by n non-singular matrix, so U sigma V are all n by n non-singular matrices, and U and V's are orthogonal matrices, real orthogonal matrices. In this case, A inverse is what? A inverse does exist. And A inverse is what? The inverse of this, isn't it? So what's the inverse of this? That is V times sigma inverse times U transpose. The inverse of this. Inverse of left hand side. Since U and V's are real orthogonal matrix, so inverse is transpose. So the transpose of this is V transpose, transpose is V, and sigma inverse times U transpose. So A inverse can be easily found just if you know the singular values, because you already know U and V. So U and V, you have it already. And you have sigma. What's the inverse of sigma? Sigma is a diagonal matrix. Sigma is a diagonal matrix, and you know the singular. We have only R non-singular. Non-zero numbers, which is the singular value of A, and so you can the sigma inverse is just what? Sigma inverse is you can easily find like this. Okay, and you can easily find it. So if you have a non-singular matrix, then finding inverse matrix is very easy if you can find the singular value decomposition. But if A is not a square matrix or singular, then this does not work. So we explain the general concept of inverse. So we now construct pseudo inverse A dagger of A, putting sigma into form like this, dagger. A dagger, we define pseudo inverse A dagger by using this concept where sigma 1 is a non-singular matrix. Okay, that's it. That's this definition, pseudo inverse. For n by n matrix A, then n by n matrix A dagger is defined as this. A dagger is defined V times sigma prime times U transpose, where U and V's are also orthogonal matrices in the singular value decomposition of A, and A prime, sigma prime is this. Since sigma 1 is a non-singular part of sigma, so sigma 1 is inverse does exist. So we define sigma prime as this. Then pseudo inverse A dagger is defined like this with this sigma prime. That's the pseudo inverse. We read A dagger as A dagger. If A is a zero matrix, then A dagger is also, we define A dagger as a zero matrix. The size is different. If this is n by n, this is n by m. Okay? Next, truncated singular value decomposition. This is also a very important concept. There are more information in here. What is the truncated singular value decomposition? We learned that singular value decomposition for any matrix A. Okay, we now have a singular value decomposition. Let's take a closer look at the matrix S. Okay, let S be like this. This is a diagonal matrix where sigma 1 is like this. Okay, these are the singular values of A, and sigma is in the decreasing order. Okay, and they are all non-negative, and others are singular values of A. a full length decomposition of A is usually denoted as A is equal to UR times V1 times VR transpose, where UR and VR are matrices obtained by taking the first R columns of U and V respectively. We define a K-length approximation to A by taking only the first K largest singular values and the first K columns of U and V. Do you understand what this tries to say here? Matrix A, if you have a matrix with singular value decomposition like this, then you just define, you just use only the sigma 1 only to write the matrix A with this. You only use the non-zero singular values like this. What this means is here. Do you understand? What are the rest? The others are related with the zero eigenvalues. So you just discard all the rest of it. Okay? You understand? Okay? So you just only, if you have a U sigma V transpose like this, then you make matrix as this, you only use this sigma 1 part, not whole sigma with here. Then this is what? R by R matrix. So you need what? R by R matrix here. The what? M by R matrix here. And you need here R by N matrix. Then how do you choose the R columns? Just use the first, the eigenvectors, the first R eigenvectors of U. Okay? Because, and or similarly to V. By just, so then you just write in like this. Then we call that is a full length decomposition of A. The rank of this matrix is same as the rank of A, which is R. Here, you can, this is the one further step. If the rank of matrix is R, but still, you can have a, not full rank, you can have a K rank approximation. Truncated singular value. You just cut off the rest by taking the first K largest singular values. You do not use whole R singular values. You just use first K largest singular values to have this form. Okay. Then you have what? You have the matrix, you have this matrix whose rank is K. That's called truncated singular value decomposition. I'll explain more here on the board. Okay, next. Now we have 3 by 2 matrix A. Then find the pseudo inverse. How? We do find the singular value decomposition. Okay? Then A can be, we can find the eigenvectors of A transpose and A transpose A. And form you find the U1, U2, and V1, V2 to make matrix U and V. Then eigenvalues of those are sigma 1 and sigma 2, which is square root 3 and 1. We have a 3 by 2 matrix U and sigma times 2 by 2 matrix V transpose. So here this we can easily find the singular value decomposition of this. Yeah, we can do the same. We can find the singular value decomposition of this with the tool that I introduced already. So we have it. Then what's the A dagger? That's just what? V times sigma inverse times U transpose. So what's the inverse of this? This is this. Isn't it? And this is V and this is U transpose. So we have A dagger here, like this. A dagger is 2 by 3 matrix. A was 3 by 2. A dagger is 2 by 3. This is the pseudo inverse of matrix A. You can easily find, if you can find the singular value decomposition of A. We can do the same thing. Yeah, from here we do find the singular values and what? Linear algebra. And yeah, this is same of this. This is finding a pseudo inverse. We can find the pseudo inverse of the matrix A like this, which is same as what we have. Next, if A has a rank n, then A says the full column rank. If A is an n by n matrix, and if rank of A is n, that means each columns are all linearly independent. So we have a whole linear independent columns. So we have, in that case, we call it has a full column rank. Okay. In that case, if A has a full column rank, this n by n matrix is non-singular because rank of this is n. So it's a non-singular. So if A is a non-singular, then pseudo inverse of A is just A inverse. Okay. Pseudo inverse of A is equal to A inverse. If it's a non-singular. Okay, here. Next, if n by n matrix A has a full column rank, then 여기 has A full column rank. A. 여기다 A 관사 있어야 되는데 랭커 명사니까. Then the pseudo inverse of A is 무슨 말인지 알지? 적어도 한군. Then pseudo inverse of A is this. Can be defined in this way. Because it has a full column rank, A transpose A, which is an n by n matrix, whose rank is n. So the inverse does exist. So if then A transpose A inverse does exist, then just multiply A transpose here. Then we have n by n matrix, n by m matrix, which we define as A dagger. So the pseudo inverse of A is defined like this. If we have a full column rank. Here's the proof. If A is a U sigma V transpose with the singular value of decomposition of A, then sigma can be written in this way, where sigma 1 is non-singular. Then A transpose A is just like this, which is V times sigma square times V transpose. Like this. So if A has a full column rank, then A transpose A is non-singular, and V is n by n orthogonal matrix, so A transpose A inverse is same as V times sigma minus 2 square times V transpose. And what is this? A transpose A inverse A transpose is same as, can be written in this way. So this V sigma and sigma, this is what is, and this can be written as this, and sigma 1 and sigma 1 minus square can be cancelled, so sigma 1 inverse is left. So this is, we can define this as a dagger, like this. Okay, so this, anyway, yeah, when you have a full column rank, then we can easily find a dagger, pseudo inverse. Here is an example. We have a 3 by 2 matrix like this, then we know these two columns are linearly independent. So we have, A has a full column rank, 2. Then A transpose A is this 2 by 2 matrix, which is non-singular. Then A dagger is the inverse of that times A transpose, which is this. This is a pseudo inverse. Got it? Okay. So if you have a full column rank, then if you have a matrix, then find the what? Rank. If the rank is same as the number of column, then you have a full column rank matrix. So you can easily find A dagger. Okay? Just A times A transpose A times A inverse times A transpose. Here, that's the property of the pseudo inverse. A dagger satisfies all this. A times A dagger A is A dagger times A dagger is A dagger, and transpose of A times A dagger is itself. A dagger transpose of A dagger A is itself. A transpose dagger is transpose of A dagger, and A dagger is itself. A. Okay. So if you think A dagger is a inverse for a non-singular matrix A, then this whole condition satisfy for A inverse. So this is a generalization of A inverse. A inverse is a special case of pseudo inverse. Okay. Yeah, this is a very easy proof. Here is the proof. Remark. A pseudo inverse provides a tool for solving a least square solution. Suppose we have AX is equal to B. Then the solution to the normal equation is this. So, this is a normal equation. Then if A has a full column length, then A transpose A is a non-singular. So what is the X? X is equal to inverse of this times A transpose times B, isn't it? This is actually pseudo-inverse. So if you have a full column length matrix, then solving this is just multiply pseudo-inverse, which can be easily obtained. Got it? So this means if A has a full column length, the least square solution to AX is equal to B is just multiply a pseudo-inverse A dagger to B. Then you have the solution, which is the least square solution that gives you the optimal solution. Even though it has no inverse, even though it is not a square matrix. Okay, next theorem says if A is a n by n matrix and B is a vector in Rn, then X is equal to A dagger B is the least square solution to AX is equal to B. That's the least square solution. You see, we have a singularity composition of A, then sigma is looks like this, and A dagger is this. A dagger looks like this. Okay? And A dagger B is this because and so A transpose A times A dagger B is can be written in this way, which can be simplified like this, which is looks like this, and then this and this one cancelled and one's left here, which this is itself A transpose, isn't it? A was U sigma V transpose, so this is A transpose. So this is same as this. So least square solution just matches with this. So it follows that X is equal to A dagger B satisfies this solution. So that is a solution actually that satisfies this normal equation of the given one. So see how this can be used. Find the least square solution. 야, 여기서 트랜스포즈가 없어야 된다. 내가 책에 다 고쳐놨어. Y is equal to M. So find the least square line passing through the 4 point. Find the least square line that least square line passing through the 4 point. This 4 point. We have 4 points. We are looking for the line that best fit these 4 lines. Let's say Y is equal to MX plus B. Then for the line fit that best fit the point 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. Then by letting X is equal to what? 2 by 1 matrix with the M and B. 2 by 1 matrix M, B. Then the given condition can be written as this. There's no transpose here. Okay. AX equal B. A is like this and B is like this. Because that should satisfy this point. Like plug in those 4 points and we have the linear system of equation whose matrix is 4 by 2. Then find the A transpose A, which is 2 by 2 matrix. Then find the inverse of it and multiply A transpose, which is this. This is the inverse of A transpose by A, and this is A transpose. Then if we multiply this A dagger to B, then you have this, which means M is equal to 2 over 3 plus B is equal to 1, which is 바뀌었네? Okay. So here B is equal to 2 over 3 and A is equal to M is equal to 1. Here. 여기 이거 뭐 바뀌었지? 예. 바뀐 거. 시작해라. Here. Actually
여기는 수정돼 있어.
책에는 고쳐져 있죠. 요거 좀 알려줘라. 내가 고칠게. Okay, I'll fix it. Okay, see here. Next, you can think of other problem. Let's say, find the equation y is equal to a plus bx plus cx square that best fit this 4 point. Try to find it. Find y is equal to a plus bx plus cx square that best fit this 4 point. Try to solve it by your hand. Yeah. You have learned how to find the cubic spline and the quadratic spline of the best approximation, best curve fitting with the same techniques here. I think that's the end of section 8.6 now. Okay, I think that's the end of the lecture for the matrix theory for real, the matrix of real matrices. Now, we got in section 8.7 and 8, we will generalize all of the knowledge that we have learned from chapter 1 to 8 to a complex matrix. The matrix whose entries are complex. So every theory will be exactly same as before, but we now start to dealing with the complex matrices. Okay. Any questions?